Hello, and welcome to the Blessed Lord channel. This is January the 15th, 2016, My View News. And there was plenty of stuff to do today, but I just decided to keep it a little casual. I'm only going to do 3 bullet points tonight. Some of the other stuff, like with starving in Syria, I just, I'm going to get on too big of a rant if I go into that. So I'm just not going to cover that. The first one that I want to cover is a news article via MSN News, and it's titled North Korea Calls for Peace Treaty, Halt to Exercises to End Nuclear Tests. And first, let me just call BS on them altogether. And North Korea is so full of crap anytime anything comes out of their mouth and anything they do. I served 3 years in the U.S. Army in 2nd ID in South Korea. And I know firsthand how scummy North Korea is, and that's not to say that my own government can't be scummy, but oh my goodness, if a lot of you could only see the way that those people live over there and how much brainwashing there is going on over there and just how much it's sad. It is so sad. And I think it's funny that they got the gall to say they want to resume to try to have a peace treaty with South Korea when 2 days before they flew like a plane or a drone near the DMZ, and then South Korea had to shoot heavy machine gun fire at it before it would turn around and go back into the North Territory. So, I mean, look how provocative they are. And they just did a supposed hydrogen bomb test last week or a few days ago, whatever that was. It was like, I think it was 2014 when they sunk a South Korean fishing vessel. And I think it was 2013 when they were lobbing rockets at that one island in South Korea, you know? So this is like some scummy regime that doesn't even take care of their own citizens, where their leader is all fat as get out and is a loser and feeds his uncles to dogs and has his old wives executed when he gets a new one. You know, just the scummiest of scum with his lousy haircut. And you already know he's got a bad taste in friends. I mean, he had Dennis Rodman come visit him. That's enough said right there. As you can tell, I don't have much love for North Korea, and I never will. And I'll just say this also, it comes from a special place in my heart. Also, my wife is South Korean, okay? So I have a deep understanding of like all the stuff North Korea has done. One, from me being in the military, and two, from what she's taught me from her being South Korean and living her entire life in South Korea. Okay. So, they're scummy, and the one thing I want to point out is that when they decide to, if anybody decides to humor this peace treaty junk, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I think the only reason they want the U.S. to stop conducting exercises with South Korea is just slowly try to get us to leave the peninsula, which I hope that never happens in a sense, because if it does, that'll be the day or the week later that North Korea just straight invades South Korea and takes it over in less than 3.5 to 8 hours. No lie. When I was in South Korea and we would do strategic simulations, we would always lose every time. And when I was in 2nd ID, we were always told we were speed bumps, so we could try to hold off enough time until reinforcements and UN and NATO troops could come in as well. And that's the God honest truth. You know, the only way we win in a war like that against North Korea is if we strike first. And that's the honest truth. Go ask any veteran, especially ones that have been over there or higher ranking lieutenant colonels and higher all the way up to generals, and they know what I'm speaking is the truth. Okay? That's why they conduct multinational exercises over in Korea all the time. Because up until even when I was in, I don't think they could figure out how to win that war on that front without attacking North Korea first. And there's also treaties in place if North Korea passes a certain parallel that the use of nukes is authorized. Okay, so that's that too. All I'm trying to say is the more that they push for peace and security, the next they're going to have chaos and suffering. That's all I'm trying to get across there. And I'm just really hesitant about any of that because every time something like that happens and something negative will happen. And furthermore, if they're willing to start their nuke tests, then maybe they got their nukes the way they want them now. I'm just saying, you know. Okay, and then on to the next news point. It's from the USA Today. Dow closes at negative 391 points. Oil and China drops rattle investors. Well, that's no doubt. Just yesterday, China had a huge run where a lot of its investors were fleeing its markets, and also Shenzhen through Shanghai. Even people that work there were just liquidating everything they had in stocks and moving it over to U.S. dollars because they said that they have more confidence in the U.S. dollar than they do in the Chinese markets right now, which I think is hilarious because this morning that's one of the main reasons the Dow dropped is because a lot of U.S. investors have more confidence in the foreign markets than they do the U.S. markets. So when you have people in the foreign markets are saying that they're not confident in their markets, and then U.S. people in the U.S. market saying they're not confident in U.S. markets, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be an implosion. There's going to be big sell-offs and things of that nature. And, it's hilarious at best. And I'm not going to be one of those ones that say, oh, collapse is evident tomorrow. No, you know what? They've had huger point drops than this before, okay? But I will say this. From December 2015 until now, the Dow has lost 8.2% of its entire net worth. That's pretty huge. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Maybe they can hit the 10% spot. But this is all slow calling, you know, just like the methane leak in California, Fukushima. That's a physical slow calling against the human race, slow calling us through our health to a slow death at the grave. Just like this stuff here, like I've said before, I truly believe when the Fed launched the raise of the interest rates last December, I think it was, first time in almost a decade. Ever since then, it seems like it's fast tracking the death of the economies and the currencies around the world. And they're doing that on purpose so they could bring about that one world digital currency and then merge that in through the chips on the cards that they're forcing everybody to go to already. And then America's starting to force the Real ID Act. I think that's supposed to be in place no later than 2017, 2018, something like that. And so, how much longer do we have left, if not even less than 3 years, until they start forcing the RFID implants? Because right now the RFID chip is voluntary. And people will say, oh, well, they're not even really talking about it. Well, you need to look closer. There's plenty of commercials, and the next headline I'm gonna cover covers this as well. Matter of fact, let's just get right into it. The next headline is from via the Telegraph.uk, and it's titled "Man Uses Microchip Implanted in Hand to Pass Through Airport Security." Now, I want to give credit to Jason A first because that's where I first saw it was off his video. And as I was looking at news articles today, I saw it under the Telegraph.uk and decided I'd put it on my bulletin points. And this is a very serious deal, because here's how they're going to do it. There's already a lot of European countries and nation states that are already going pro chip. Okay, a lot of companies are already getting their employees to take the chip in their hands so that way they can access the door to get in the building and etc. They've already shown commercials where people use a chip to turn on their car, unlock their car, etc. Using the chip to transfer funds from one account to someone else's hand, which is their other bank account. And the same thing with this right here with this guy being the first man microchip implanted to pass through airport security in the EU. They're going to make it look so wonderful and so convenient and everything. And everybody that's against it, everybody that doesn't want to be a part of it, is going to get labeled a radical, a domestic terrorist, or etc. And it's just not going to be good. And, that's what I got for that. Saints, just be wise. And be wise to the times that are coming ahead. And, let's get our houses in order. Because how much more time are we going to have before we don't have time to get ready anymore? God bless y'all, and have a wonderful Friday evening.